All right, welcome back from that particular break, and we're getting more of the business reports regarding the issues of the Ministry of Works. And this time around, we'll take a look at the 2021 review from the Ministry of Works. What do we have, Rita?
Very well. Now, we interacted with General Katumba Wamala, and he highlighted on the highs and lows of 2021. This is the Minister actually of Works, and he expressed his gratitude to all Ugandans for supporting the ministries through paying taxes, and also that this has brought in the development of so many roads around the country, which has led also to the growth of business centers and also various parts of the country, taking an example of Karamoja region. And now let us disclose what he discussed with Smart 24 TV.
The Ministry of Works Minister General Katumba Wamala expresses his gratitude to all Ugandans for supporting the ministry through paying taxes. He says that this has brought in the development of many roads, which has led to the growth of business centers in various parts of Uganda, taking an example of Karamoja. Smart 24 TV shared a moment with General Katumba Wamala, who disclosed some of the achievements gained in the past 36 years of the NRM governance.
Most of our projects have a period of 2 to 3 years, some to 4, 5. So really to say within this 1 year, because ours is not, these are big projects, they don't take a short time. So maybe I can say what have we achieved in the last 36 years. I will say without missing words that I think a lot has been achieved in my sector. I will start with the roads. By the time that we are talking about 1986 up to now, I think by 86 we had about 875 kilometers of tarmac roads. Now we are talking of 5,593 kilometers of tarmac roads. That's a very big boost in terms of tarmac roads. Now, I can tell you that the country has been connected from border to border. You can drive you can drive all the way from Busia, and you drive on the eastern side of the border, and you drive to Chanika on the western side of the border on tarmac. You can drive from Misingo on the border of the Sudan all the way to Katuna on tarmac. From Welegu all the way to Lamia in Wundubujo on tarmac. So that has been achieved, that the country has been connected from border to border.
He further adds that there has been so much growth in the Bunyoro region following the way it was in 1986, and in southwestern Uganda the Kabale airport has already 70% towards completion.
We were given a task within the period I'm talking about to ensure that the production of oil is facilitated. So we're given the responsibility of ensuring that the roads in the oil belt in the Albertine region are done. And I think recently you saw the president commissioning a number of them, which is also a big achievement. It has been a very big change in the Bunyoro region with all those roads done. We found by 1986 there was only two crossing points on River Nile. That was at Jinja and also at Karuma. Now we have got about 4 or 5 crossing points. At Para you can cross by a bridge. At Karuma you cross by a bridge. At Jinja we have 2 bridges, the old and the new. So these are all developments which have come. In Kabale, in the oil belt, apart from the roads, we have also done the airport, Kabale International Airport. It's now about 70% ready.
General Katumba also mentions the ongoing extensions of Entebbe International Airport and with the Uganda Airlines being able to recover.
You all know that we have re-established the Uganda Airline after so many years in limbo. Now we have the Uganda Airline, we have the Uganda flag up in the skies. It may have met some challenges in the beginning and the start, just like all projects do. But I think it's doing very well. It will be able to recover, and it's flying. It has even survived the challenges of the COVID time. So that's an achievement in the air industry. We have expanded Entebbe Airport and still expanding. You remember when we had the Commonwealth meeting here, some of the presidents had to go and park their aircrafts elsewhere because Entebbe airport was small. It couldn't accommodate all the aircrafts.
The government has also invested heavily in water transport with a new ferry at Chindi landing site and also free ferries, and this has made it easy for people to travel to the islands on Lake Victoria, most of those living in Kalangala regions.
We have a number of ferries serving many areas. One of them is Suguru. I don't know whether people know even where Suguru Islands are, but we have been able to connect Suguru, Dorwe Islands have been able to be connected. Chiyindi, we have put there a new ferry in Chiyindi, taking away the old ferry. Kalangala, we have, that is, I will speak with a lot of pride on that because that's my home area. And Kalangala, at one time, you could not even think of going to Kalangala because it was very, very difficult for you to get to Kalangala and come back. Now you can wake up in the morning, get to Kalangala, do your business, and come back by the evening. We have free ferries which ply between Bukakata and Luku from Masaka side. And we have also connected that road, the road from Masaka to Bukakata, which was a Maram road. It's now a tarmac road. It takes 30 minutes from Masaka to be on the ferry, and takes 30 minutes to cross with the ferry.
He says that more changes have been done to certain islands like Panyamor.
Laropi ferry in Jumani. The people are going from Nakasongola, crossing Choga from Zengebe to on the other side to Langon. They have a number of ferries which we operate on Choga. We are constructing another ferry called BKK, Bukungu Kagwara Kamuli ferry, which will be plying again on those connecting those areas. And recently there's one to Panyumur, which had been affected by the rising waters, but it started working now. Once they caught Panyumur. So even the water transport has been addressed. We are now trying to put sanity in the water transport by registering vessels which are fit to transport people and cargo.
However, this ministry has also registered a number of challenges, which included lack of funding, and this has affected maintenance of roads plus completing other projects.
Is low funding. Low funding. That's the. Of course, when I talk about low funding, people say, "But your ministry gets a lot of money." My ministry gets a lot of money, but also the demands are many. Doing a road is not as cheap as it's not cheap. To do a kilometer of a road, on average in Uganda, it's about $900,000 to 1.2 million, depending on the area where the road is being done. For example, a kilometer of road being done in Kapchora may not be the same cost of a kilometer of a road being done in Luero because of the terrain. So the challenge we still have is the low funding. And this affects us because, yes, we have done many roads, but those roads must be maintained. The problem is we have an imbalance.
Giving an insight on the express highway, General Katumba expressed excitement regarding the great turn-up revenue from the Ugandans using the road, and he believes that this will help beat off the loans and also maintain this highway.
For me, that's very good. If it has a lot of traffic, I'm very happy. That means that I'll be able to, generate enough money soon to service the loan, but also be able to generate enough money to do other road projects. So I'm happy that it has a lot of traffic. Please let more vehicles, let more vehicles use the expressway.
Very well, that is General Katumba Wamala there, the Minister of Works and Transport around the country. But also, when you look at the performance of the transportation sector, is one of the most crucial sectors actually in the country, as the sectors depend on directly services into the country, because we have got people, there's no way you're going to move to the next destination, to move to the next destination without the use of transportation sector around the country, that is by road or air or even the works. So when we talk of works, the ministers of works usually also compare to works in regards to constructions, in regards to services. So it's either two-way, well, both directly or indirectly. But what do you have to say, Paul, about the transportation sector in the country?
He mentions about the airport, also the extension of Entebbe International Airport. That is they are doing some extension works at the airport, and the project is moving on smoothly, according to the state minister here. And he believes that by 2025, we will have completed at least a very huge stage, maybe a 90% of this particular one. So amongst one of those key achievements, they are mentioning about 2021 from the Ministry of Works and Transport. And then the issues of, he also mentions of the revival of the Uganda Airlines, mainly. And so clearly the Uganda Airlines, we all know now, this very year, Uganda Airlines is looking at making 2 more destinations in April. Then others are also going to come in the long run throughout this very year. Destinations of London, and they have Mumbai is also coming through for the people who watch a lot of Z World. London, Mumbai is a destination you will definitely want to catch with the Uganda Airlines.
You have to say Z World now.
Z World, because women love Z World, and you love Z World. You watch Z World. So, and so when you mention about Mumbai, Mumbai is in India, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and then there is also, you mentioned about an airport in the southwestern part of Uganda, which is 70% about to complete, and all those projects are part of that.
Yes, I appreciate all that work. Well done, Ministry of Works, but also we still have loopholes around there. When you look at our railway services around the country, do you appreciate what is happening with the railway sector? The railway.
He says they are working on trying to revamp it, but this has been a story for quite a long time. And I think
stories that take long, I usually call them songs.
So when you look at that, most of the Ugandans are also waiting for that, because we look at our neighboring countries like Kenya, drawing some comparison with Tanzania, having standard gauge railways. More so Kenya's SGR is one that we can look at and say Kenya's railway transport is back on track, running from Mombasa to Nairobi and going through various provinces in Kenya. So I think it is one whereby some Ugandans who have got a chance of traveling with the standard gauge railway in Kenya can easily come here and say it is important for us as Uganda to have.
And the government is in plan about the standard gauge railway, which it has been said about for a very long time, and we still await. But like we said earlier, you had just a short bit of General Katumba Wamala there. Smart 24 TV is compiling a very special report, so stick around. You're going to be conveying it to you right there and have more detailed information about how we are progressing as a country in our transportation sector. The day before, that was the day, a historical day now that they call of it, a historical day that is going to, be in history of the Ugandan government, both Uganda and Tanzania actually, when there was an open and official conveyment of the pipeline around the country.
The final investment decision was taken.
What is some of the most pickups from that event?
Well, before even the event kicked off, we mentioned about the employment opportunities that will come. What I also do know is that the Tanzanian president, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, was supposed to be here, though I think she sent in more representatives and different dignitaries. And as a matter of fact, by the way, Rwanda also sent a representative who also highlighted on the issue of the border.
Okay.
And he also he mentioned something about the border and why there's some ongoing reports that are happening, that this and more is what they are working on as both governments of Uganda and Rwanda to see that these issues are mitigated. But back on to your question of what are the key highlights that I picked out of there. I did find out that we have a lot of interests in this particular one. Because even the president was quick to note that, well, it is time that for a journey of 15 years, it is now a huge milestone for Ugandans to look at it and say, yes, we are good to go. And what I do understand mostly is that the final investment decision was undertaken to develop and construct the facilities that are going to provide room or give room for us to get oil. And the chances are we may get our first oil in 2025.
2025.
And then the production of this will come after the development and the construction of facilities. So this final investment decision was to give room, was to open room for the development and construction of facilities to actually kick off. So that is why you could see that the different farms like Sinop, we had Total Energies in there, because all those are key stakeholders, and Tanzania, which is going to be our transportational means, because they're going to be a major transportation route to Tanga port in Tanzania. So they were in there, the final. So with what Ugandans need to know, by the way, about the final investment decision is that now the construction facilities are underway, and there is room that they are going to start constructing this thing. The pipes are going to be put in there. Construction is going to, so the real construction is now kicking off.
Yeah,
the others, they were doing the survey and all that. Okay, there was construction, because you cannot just come out of the blue out of there and say, now we are just starting after 15 years of oil discovery. So with that, Ugandans should be very assured that now we have oil in the country, and the construction of facilities is on the way.
And from me, I like the fact that President Museveni highlighted onto the journey and history of oil discovery around the country that has now taken a journey of about 60 years, actually, from the time when the British were trying to start it on, that was in 1920 to 1960, 66. And the issue there was, actually there was not any progress of them. They tended to actually know that not that the oil evaporated, according to his speech, of course. But luckily enough, after the 40 years, President Museveni and his effort that he tried to make, trying to implement on systems, lucky enough, they got to know that the Albert region actually has oil. But away from that, the fact that I also noted something Uganda must learn. This is a must learn, actually, from the government of Tanzania. When the Vice President of Tanzania was speaking, communicating the message, he highlighted on how exactly Tanzanian government and its citizens are going to be benefiting directly, with a lot of numbers, with figures, with the money all associated with it. But I did not hear actually from our government here highlighting it eloquently on how Ugandans are going to be tapping directly or indirectly, apart from just, letting people know that, Sinop is taking over. We have got the international oil company, yes.
The IOC.
Yes, the IOC. And also speaking about UNOC, speaking about...
Thanks for the clarity of that international oil company, because some people were looking at the IOC, because in the sports world we have the International Olympics Committee. So, and both of them have the same kind of abbreviation, IOC. Okay. So Uganda should actually know that it's not the International Olympic Committee here.
It's the International Oil Company this time around. And from what I picked, Tanzania actually is going to be making a turnover of about $360 from 2022, effective 2022 to 2025, and that is around a 60% increase of their GDP. You can imagine. This gives light onto what people actually expect. I mean, that's a challenge that as a country we should learn from. We have been having challenges, actually. Personally, I face it too, because you're going to go to the Ministry of Minerals and Energy to seek maybe clarity on some of the figures. And you're going to go to another ministry, they give you different ones. So to me yesterday, it was, a must take home for Uganda as a government to always be on point, to at least copy something that, there is no zigzagger points around here. Just be clear, and clarity makes citizens actually understand more. And even that said, there are 14 priority areas actually in Tanzania where the oil will be influencing, and also 8 regions there. And compensation has all been, worked out. But around the country here, we still have a lot of challenges with compensations. There are people who actually are still claiming that they didn't reach out to their compensation. We were here the other day with the former Bulisa Member of Parliament from yes, Honorable Stephen Mukitale, who was also highlighting on the same issue that, the authorities who are taking upon the responsibility to compensate people around, take on a delay processes. And that fact, it's not hidden. I mean, it's self-greed and corruption.
And it's when you look at the oil, most of the Ugandans are really happy with it. And the key interactions with some of the locals, they do believe that with the rising fuel prices, once we start getting our own oil, they hope we shall not be having all these scenarios in Uganda. Why? Because they know we have the oil in there. But others, very few, I would say, know of the opportunities. Others just are having information that we have oil in the country.
And all that said, Paul, actually, did you know that we've got a lot of opportunities from oil? We've got a lot of products that are coming in from oil. I got that highlight yesterday also. That actually, in case you didn't know, that some petroleum jellies are from oil, some tires, even rubbers are actually from oil, and that this all was highlighted as an effect of recycling project that will be coming out actually after the oil refineries. So there is going to be recycling of oil products, or produces. So the produces, among them, I was mentioning the jellies, I've mentioned the tire. We've also got petromedicine products. I do not know if you have used that before.
Not yet.
Then there is also what they call polyester. Have you used polyester before?
Polyester, I see people using polyester, buying polyester.
Yes.
Most of women buying polyester that is from, people buy it from France. Others want that made in Germany. Others want polyester made from the United Arab Emirates.
Very well. Actually, all those are oil products, actually. Petro products. So what is going to happen after 40 years? The government of Uganda anticipates that after 40 years journey of starting to refine our oil around here, we're going to also, for betterment of our environment around here, I do not know how old you will be after 40 years, how old you will be, Paul, but after 40 years, Uganda is also looking at a journey of how to recycle a tire. Now, if there is a tire that is made out of petrol, if there is rubber that is now ongoing, working, made of petrol. After 40 years, government is trying to make sure they recycle these and more products come up, and also try to mitigate environmental struggles, and also try to preserve our climate, and hopefully we're good to go in terms of environmental management. I mean, that's a very good one for me.
And for that, the Ugandans should actually know that there is also high chances for the real estate sector. Why? Because the people that are going to make the construction, that are going to be the construction, will need where to sleep, where to stay, and where to have shelter. And in the areas of Hoima, Bulisa, and districts nearby, people who are having houses in their apartments can definitely get some money out of it. So a lot of opportunities out there, the non-skilled labor, the skilled labor. But with the final investment decision, this is a decision that was undertaken to make sure that the development and construction of facilities kicks off.
Very well, and not forgetting that the International Oil Company has been given a responsibility of protection of the pipeline premises, and also labor laws to International Oil Company should be very well it actually must be adhered very respectively. And that brings us to the end of our, I can say, our topical discussion around for this time. SMB continues. We're going to be having sport coming up shortly with Joram Paul Sonko here.